So welcome everybody. I'm Cindy Myers, and tonight we are having an intuitive listening webinar, and we're going to be talking about grief and the major life processes. I struggled with the title, but it's what I'm understanding is that there's like the fight or flight response system is a process that we need for our survival. Grief is as important as that, and there's interplay with it as well as its own entity. And there's the emotion of grief, but also there's a bigger umbrella of a process. Just as fear, there's the emotion of actual fear, but then there's a whole process. So that's what actually got me thinking about it, was thinking of the fear process and emotion, that, oh, grief is like a subset. The emotion of grief is a subset of this bigger thing uh, that we, our English language is so limiting, but there's a bigger process involved, a bigger system that is necessary. And the system is what I'm really interested in talking about more, not just as well as the individual emotion, but it's the system we're going to be talking about. And I'm interested in systems because I used to be a systems engineer when I worked for the Navy. So I see things when I do energy work on you guys. It is usually I'm not just working on the individual issue, but I'm looking at the whole system. And that's why I'm also looking and studying more about the chakras, because that's more related to the system as well. So before I get going though, let me go a little bigger with this. If you're having a medical emergency, please call your doctor or 911. But what I can do is provide energy support for you that will help your natural healing abilities, as well as help reduce the anxiety and stress that occurs when there's a medical emergency, and just support your system. It's a team approach at that point, but do call your doctor. So this is the main topic that I really want to talk about. I don't have too many slides today, but this one I put together today is looking at the different processes. And I've kind of looking at it as four major ones, and there might be others um, that probably are important too, but in this area right now, this is what's been coming up for me, because we've been studying a lot mind, body, spirit. We hear that phrase a lot, and it's almost a little overused, in my opinion. But it really relates to three dimensions, and when you're kind of pretty comfortable understanding and see things in three dimension, that's a concept that's easy to grasp. And then we have been going to four dimensions a little bit more and understanding. And recently we've gone up into the fifth dimension. But right now, let's talk about in the four-dimensional world. I believe it's related to this fear, grief, love, and in your spiritual belief system. So these are four major systems that are really important and vital for especially humans, for our existence. For if we have those well and balanced and are growing, and there's actually growth happening in some of these areas. But as we become more conscious of these four systems, that is where we can grow into our more authentic selves. And we can use these different systems. And I believe it's grief is the biggest driver into us getting closer into um, the higher levels of consciousness. It's the catalyst. It can, at least it can be the catalyst in getting us to grow and expand and become more self-aware, and sometimes even to find our purpose in life is through grief. And so what the interconnection of these is um again, with grief, is fear. That would be the initial um triggering of grief, is because we're wired, again, we need the fear system to survive. That keeps us alive, right? Or um keeps us alive in a threat threat situation. It was designed to protect us, to make us aware of our surroundings and to know when to run, fight, or freeze. It really has three major decision making process uh, when that is triggered. And it's designed again to, to drive us to want to keep survive, to survive. It is our survival center. And so that one is related to the first chakra, which is down at the base of your spine. And so fear is really driven by that first chakra. And also a certain part of the brain, which is triggering those emotions, those hormones, all of that. And it shuts other systems down to minimal so that all the energy can go into that one so that we have a greater likelihood to survive. If we didn't have that, if we did not have that system, having left if you believe in reincarnation, and when we get incarnated into this plant, into this realm, to leave the nicer side when you cross the other side, it's pretty nice. Who would want to leave that? And so the desire to get back there would be pretty high because it's so beautiful over there. So this design was created to want us to survive. So we've this again, thinking of who designed the system, this was really important. We need to protect ourselves because we want to survive. We want to live. And so this system was created, and it was created in a way that we don't have to really think about it. It has to be automatic. So that one is that, and we've studied a lot about the fear system and how it works, and I call it lizard brain and all that. So it gets triggered a lot, even when the threat isn't a genuine threat to our actual survivability. Just having fear being triggered, it will go into the same process as if a lion were about to jump out at us. So that's fear. Let's skip. Do I want to skip grief for a second? All right. So when we first get grief, when we experience grief, and it's new, if the grief is just happening, that can trigger the fear system. Okay, so it can be kind of unconscious at that moment where we start that your stress hormones will kick in just as if you were in the fear state, and that's more the emotion of grief, which I think is like the catalyst to begin the process. The full process is just that triggering of it. And again, grief doesn't have to be about the loss of a loved one. It can be just change. Change follows the same process as grief, pretty much. So even a big change, if you're getting ready to switch to a new job, something is changing in your life, a major change, that can trigger a grieving process. There's a loss. There's something you're leaving behind and you're going into something new. Personal growth, something is changing that you're letting go of and moving forward to something new that you're not sure about yet. So it actually goes through a very similar process as grief. So grief is like, in that state, is like a catalyst, and it uses that fear state. At that point, it's linked to fear. Then as we look at some of these other systems, grief is also related to your heart chakra because you're loving something. And when we lose something, it's because if you didn't care about it, it wouldn't be a big deal, right? So there's something important that is part of your heart that carries some love energy in it that is important to to us in some way. We love it. We care about it. And that's important in not only our first chakra, which gives us our sense of stability and tribe. So first chakra, again, fear is really related to it, but also the love is connected to the first chakra in that way. That's kind of, the first chakra is like a ground, and then your fourth chakra, which is your heart chakra, it's like a connection there. So if you have a nice solid foundation, there's a strong, quite often a stronger heart chakra. because you have that solid grounding. If there's a distortion in there, then yeah, then maybe the heart chakras also, we have more protection. We're worried about getting hurt, our heart getting hurt. Grief can trigger that wounding, and depending on the age, can really create distortions on that heart chakra. So we can have the the negative, quote unquote, negative aspect of grief and of impacting our heart chakra. But on the other side, that's where we can also get more strong and find our purpose, and it's a pathway to our purpose. So it's kind of the, in some ways, uh the middle point between our the ground and the higher, the crown chakra, which is our spiritual belief system. It's in our prehistoric days, we, humankind, had a spiritual belief system, to help explain why did these things happen, why does it get dark at night, why do we have these major storms, we have to ask the gods for forgiveness. They had sacrifice. They were trying to grasp that concept of what is happening that isn't explainable to their level of thinking. There's a trust system that it just, they don't have any idea why is this happening. So they created this theory of gods that said that they must be the reason for it, because they didn't understand it. So they had to have this spiritual system that helped them explain the why of things happening. And so we still have that. We have this idea of what is the why, and it can be to our authentic selves. What the why, what is our human purpose, or what is the purpose in an even bigger scale? So there's an important system that was designed not only for the love part, which is important again for our survivability, to have that connection to others in a tribe, whether it's our animals or our human mates, and or just our communities, to have some love there. It's again a drive to go into the higher self, into that higher, it's a pathway to get to our purpose and to our why. And then that purpose, and that's the crown chakra. So four systems that seem to be really, really important to our whole makeup and to our design concept. And again, I wish I had better English language in explaining these things. And maybe if you have questions and comments, it can help fill in that language more for us. But again, I've been studying. Actually, there's been very few. There's some scientific studies studying grief and seeing what parts of our brain is being triggered. And there is different parts. So fear, again, is just that inner brain, that little part, the amygdala part of our brain that is triggering that. Whereas grief is actually triggering various parts of our brain, as does love, as well as the spiritual system. It actually is triggering different systems. And there have a couple studies where people have been hooked up to MRIs and scans so they can see things lighting up in different places. Not the easiest thing to study and do scans on, but they're starting to do some of those, which is kind of interesting, I'm finding. But just as an energy person and feeling things as an empath, I can tell when things are happening because I feel it in my own head, that these different systems are getting activated. Fear is very different in my system, and or when I'm hearing you folks talking, I can usually tell when you switch from your conscious, your cerebellum, which has your bigger brain in it, that's has lots of emotions and thoughts and ideas and things. And when you switch into fear brain, I can usually tell. I can feel it in my system that you just went into lizard brain. And that's what I try and help coach you to recognize for yourself, so and give you tools to work your way out of it. But again, those are all parts of the system, and the goal of it is to raise us up to this higher consciousness and awareness, and using the whole system. It's not to avoid having fear, but my goal or my understanding of these processes isn't to say, well, we never want fear or we never want grief. It's let's use them for what they were designed for. Most of the issues arise and the um, distortions in your energy, physical, mental, uh, spiritual distortions that you experience is because we're not using these processes properly. It's because we get afraid of what they may lead to, and we get stuck, and so we're afraid of it. So if we understand the process, we understand that there's a real purpose to these things. If we go into them, then we can actually use them again to push us and and help us grow into something that's really um, makes us a better human. So hopefully you guys have some thoughts on this. Um, I wanted to show you this chart because it's kind of related to it. And this is really good for those of you that hop on and want to stay on for the healing circles or come on later to healing circles. Is when I tune you guys, I actually tune you to that love or above. You'll hear me say love or above. And it's that green line going up into the purple. But there again, it's not that we want to avoid these lower frequency emotions. They're important to use them as they are designed for. Okay. It's just that we don't want to get stuck in them. And we don't want fear, again, lizard brain, to keep us staying in that one stop in those areas, those lower frequency areas. And we can use again by using these emotions for what they're designed for, we can use the love and above emotions to help keep us moving forward instead of getting us stuck. It's the catalyst to help us get into our higher thinking brain instead of staying stuck in the run, fight, freeze. So, and then again, with grief, we have another process that gets us to go through all of these stages, including the lower frequency emotions, the anger, the guilt, the shame, the whatever the emotions are that are involved with whatever your loss is about or change. We want to understand those so that we can grow into where we're headed. It's a roadmap, and that's how we can use these emotions. So tomorrow, to help you with your authentic self, I have a new group that I started last month. And so tomorrow is our second session of this group. And it's Heal the Healers. And you know what? We're all healers in some fashion. And because we all need healing in some fashion. It's part of that process. And some of us need more healing because we're such good caregivers. We're a bunch of empaths. Most folks that come to my my uh my events and hire me for sessions, you have a strong empathic ability yourselves. You're attracted, like attracts like. And so being more empathic individuals, we tend to carry a bigger burden of energy of others. And so we're so busy taking care of others that we're last on the list. So I wanted to design this group. I've designed this group that can help refuel us, but also not just about doing some meditations and stuff. It's also, again, from that roadmap that I showed. I'm trying to create that path from fear brain to the love place that's loving ourselves, but also now to getting us to our higher self as well, and creating that path from all the way from first chakra to the highest chakra, and giving you a roadmap to your highest purpose. So I'm providing you some exercises. It's an experiential group in which you actually do stuff, usually a creative, artistic kind of thing, not artistic where you're going to want to necessarily put it on a wall. It's not that kind. It's to access a different part of your brain that you usually aren't using as much of, especially if you are in the caregiving mode. So by using this part of your brain or accessing it, that gives us the roadmap to your higher self. So That's tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time. The cost is $30 and it's on my website. So just check out my website and you can register for it. It's not too late. There's still, I do try and keep the group small, but there's room for a couple more if you want to attend tomorrow. All right. So speaking of that, that's tomorrow, 11 a.m. and registration's on my website. There is no healing circle this Saturday because I'm teaching a class on Sunday, which is sold out. So if you're interested in how to communicate with animals, there will be more. Don't have a date on the next one just yet, but keep an eye on it. But the Sundays is sold out, which is exciting. Let's see. So the next healing circle after tonight will be next Wednesday, March 1st. I can't believe it's already March. And then a week from Saturday, we'll have another healing circle. And then in 2 weeks, we'll have an animal emotions webinar. And there's a lot more happening in March as well. So just kind of keep your eyes open for emails and there'll be more details. So let's see. I think that's all I have for that for now. And of course, if you are interested or need some support individually, you can check out my website. If you haven't worked with me before, you probably want to start with the starter package. If you just need some quick clearings, you can use the quick cleanse and that will help clear stuff out. All right. Any questions or comments on our topic tonight? Thoughts? I'd be interested in your thoughts since it's kind of a newish theory that I've been working on myself. So your feedback is helpful in getting the language improved. You're quiet tonight. Does anybody want a clearing or need a little extra clearing of trapped emotions? Donna, you unmuted. You got something?
I have two things. One, I really appreciate how you're correlating the other components with grief, because honestly, I'd never thought about the component of fear, in relation to grief, in how it could be universal in the process. That there is a small element of that, no matter what kind of grief experience we're experiencing. So I just wanted to say that from my perspective, I like how you've integrated those pieces into that.
Good, thank you.
Absolutely. And on that note, I was hoping that you could help me with a question. I've been going to school to learn new modalities to help clients and become a coach. And I'm coming up to the end of my learning journey. And that's fantastic, except I can't tell if I'm experiencing fear or just not centered enough to know the direction I want to go. Suddenly I'm coming to the end of this journey and I'm feeling stuck. I'm not quite sure what I'm feeling, but it doesn't feel like I thought it would feel, like I was going to be exhilarated and ready to go. So
okay, well, you're fitting right with the topic then, because that's change. Change is grief. You're going from the nice structure of a schooling system that has everything organized and laid out in a nice path for you. And now you're getting ready to fly the nest and you kind of have to figure that, create your own process now. And it may not totally fit with what you just learned. I was laughing earlier when you said, and I'm done with the education. I was like, you're never done learning.
I'm done with the formal schedule. That's all.
Really the formal stuff, yes, but you're never done. Especially if you go into this business, you really have to dedicate yourself to constantly learning and growing because you always get clients that are nipping at your heels that push you and push your buttons. So you have to constantly stay one step ahead of them and work on yourself, which is part
and I
of
love that.
Yeah.
I love
I
the
do.
learning process, and that may be part of my grief is, of course, I do learning on my own, through all kinds of different, channels too. But yeah, I love that part. Um, yeah, so I don't know, kind of perplexed.
Well, I do coach folks that are starting their businesses or trying to carve it out, and I have different ways of helping because I too had to create my own modality that worked for me. Uh, being an empath, an extremely hypersensitive person, I couldn't. Being in person didn't work. It
Mm,
it made me not feel good. I was studying to be a therapist for a number, I had quite a few hours under my belt when I went, I don't think this is the right fit. And that was depressing because I invested a ton of time and money, a huge amount of money to become one. And then to find out, I don't think this is right for me. That was a huge decision and a big thing to let go of. But I also knew that if I forced myself to just finish, because I would have a lot of guilt and think, all the reasons that said you should do this. But I trusted my authentic selves going, not the right fit. And then I spent a lot of time trying to just understand myself and trying different things until I figured out the right modality. And a lot of it was studying under other people and trying their things, and then taking what worked and understanding what worked, and as much as just as important what didn't work, until I realized I'm really good at this over the phone. That is my best. I'm truly, people want me to, the local folks want me to come to their place and do stuff on their pets or anything. I'm going, really, I'm way better over the phone than if I'm in person with you, because I have to have my shields up if I'm in person. Otherwise, it's too strong and I go home and feel nauseous and a migraine coming in. I don't want that. So I have to either bring my energy so tight into me, or, I have to put so much protection on myself so I don't absorb people's stuff because they're just too close. They're physically too close and I can just feel every ache and pain that you have.
mm,
And I don't want to do that. And I have to have my system open if I'm going to help them right. If I'm going to do my best to helping them, that means then I'm a big sponge. So there's just, you can't have it both ways. Or at least I haven't figured out how to have it both ways. I haven't figured out the right protections, whatever energy to let it pass through me and not get stuck. So
mhm.
so by doing the phone, I don't have those symptoms most of the time. Right, so I had to really figure it all out and be okay with it. And then, to learn from others, try stuff that they did, and then make it my own. And that and then trust and practice and tweak it, and constantly tweaking it all. So, and I also used a number of coaches to help me, and I trusted them on some things, and then I went, "Something doesn't feel right about that." And so I've learned from that, because they were coaching, but it was like their way is the right way for, this is what works. You must do it this way. And I went, it doesn't feel right. So learning again to trust when are those ideas great and I can accept them, and when to listen to that thing that says something doesn't feel right. Why am I
Mhm.
listening to that? So when I coach folks, it's to get it, not to necessarily make you mini me's, but to learn about you and help you create your own so that works best for you. Because
Yeah.
how it works for you is the most important, not just mirroring what I do. It's,
Mhm.
I'm me. So so that's how I think that's what's important for you, is to, now as you're branching out, is to start thinking about, well, what works, feels right, what does feel right. Do I want to be working with people in, or animals, or whoever you're working, what is your clientele? And so I work on different things. I work on getting you your avatar. What is your client? What is your perfect client? What is works for you, even business wise? What tools do you need? Who to go to? Who to help you? What are the things you want to use for that? So lots of things that to work through. affects all those things we cover in my coaching program. So if that's of help to you, and if you want to talk more personally, one-on-one, I'm happy to do that with you. Just give me a shout, email. We can set up a phone call.
Okay,
Thank you long, but good.
sounds good.
Thanks, Donna, and good luck. And congratulations too. That's exciting.
Thanks.
Joy, you got your hand up.
That was such an important conversation and so much wisdom, and this is going to be 180 degrees the other way.
Okay.
I think I've heard you say there's really no animal too small to connect with, but I have an animal mystery on my hands. Oops, my phone is ringing. Let me turn that off. I've had a bed and breakfast at my house for 20 years, and twice in that time I had bed bugs. The last time was about 6 years ago, and the first time I said, if this ever happens again, I'm quitting the business, and I did. And I haven't had any incidents after that, but Sunday I took a shower in the downstairs bathroom, which isn't near a bedroom. And after my shower, and I wrung out the wash rag and laid it over the tub, and I was drying my hair and stuff, I noticed a spot on the white wash rag and looked, and it was a single, not moving bed bug. And it's, it's not near a bed. It couldn't have been on the washcloth during the whole shower. I don't know where it came from or how, and was it just a messenger? Because I'm trying to think of ways to make more money and bring money into the house. And I guess part of me is thinking, well, maybe I should do Airbnb. Maybe it was a messenger, remember your promise, or do you have any insights? I mean, I checked the sleeper sofa in the room pretty close to that bathroom, and I checked my bed to see if I could have brought it down with any clothing, my pajamas or something, but both of those beds are fine. So
Well, again, I'm not sure it can help you on locating the source of bed bugs, but I think it's more, I'm curious of looking up what is the spiritual meaning of bed bugs. Uh, oh, okay. Soft chocolate is the same bit of the recited. Blah blah blah. So we don't need it. Okay. Well, I think it's related to you looking for income for your place. Because it talks about they tend to go to places that are lower income. So it's talking about income and the desire to make income. Um, uh, and I think because you didn't want to, you stopped doing it because of them. It might be a sign. Are you, this may not be the right path for earning that income because you're repeating something. So think of it that way. It's like, it's more like is it a sign that saying from your spirit guides going, are you sure you want to do this again?
right, and I wasn't thinking about that's huge. I've done roommates since, and that's worked out pretty well too. And then you don't have the frequency of people that have been traveling all over the world,
All right. So some of that, when I get signs like that, when I'm looking at doing something that I've done before and didn't like, there were reasons I didn't like. Were reasons I stopped doing it.
Mhm.
And then I think about, well, maybe I should do that again. If it doesn't feel right, it's because I haven't stepped out of the box enough. And looking at something from a different perspective. So I look at what is this? This is the known path. This is what I know has worked or hasn't worked. Maybe it hasn't worked because you had these issues, but it's a known. You know how to do it. You know how to do a bed and breakfast. You know how to do it, but but you're going to repeat the cycle though.
Yeah,
I think that's what the bed bug is saying, is that if you go that route again, you're going to have this issue.
yeah,
Do you want to do that again? So take a step back, breathe a little bit, use the meditation time. If you stay on for the healing circle, which you often do, use that to ask. Um, this is the intention that I use these days to help me when I'm not sure where I'm supposed to go I can feel I'm getting kind of pushed to do my own growth. It's time for me to step up, which is what this topic is pushing me to do, and starting to get mm, the language for. Uh, but I started with, when I didn't know that this was where I was heading. It was, please show me the path to my higher self and my highest purpose. So my meditations, and I think that was another thing, that was just asked, is it this or that? It was an and statement in there. Those are and statements. So I use that mantra not only before I do my meditations, but also to stop my lizard brain. When I feel my lizard brain kicking in, and it's usually when I'm stuck on an idea that I don't know how to change out of that, well, maybe I need to do the bed and breakfast again. That's lizard brain kind of talking, because it's
right.
that fear of, I need income, but it's coming from a place of fear, but it's known. It's first chakra. I know this, that's my comfort zone, even though it isn't the right fit. So then I use that again, that mantra, please show me the path to my higher self and my highest purpose,
Mhm.
uh and then let it go. And I might have to repeat it a few times until I feel the repetitive thoughts calming down and I don't hear them anymore. It stops. So I keep
Right,
repeating that mantra, and definitely said it before my meditations. Oh, and even if during the meditation, if I feel my mind distracting or something, I'll go back to that, and then just listen, just sit, and then trust, because it invariably has shown up. I did that, and within 24, 48 hours, I got an email on, do you want to be a speaker at the symposium? Yeah, sure. How about this topic? And they went, no, we don't want that. Oh, how about on grief? The universal language of grief. It just flew right out of me. And I typed, I went, oh, hey, that's a good idea. Now I need to study that. So, and then that just started flowing and all the ideas started coming together. So again, but it started with setting that intention of what's next. What is, help me,
right.
show me the path. Show me. How am I supposed to go from here to there? Because I'm not seeing it. And then they started giving me the cookie crumbs. So
Right.
try that and see if that will help, because it feels like to me that's what's happening with the sign of the bed bug. As far as knowing where they're coming from in your house, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like I don't really need to worry about an infestation if there's only one. So, um, just a messenger that got here somehow.
Yeah, and that's when it's really weird. It's like, oh, how did I get here? But as long as it's one, and I mean, it's not an infestation. Thank you.
Yeah,
And then I say, thank you, the universe, for not sending me more. I'm listening.
right.
Because that's the other thing our guides like to do is, are you listening? And no. Okay, I'll give you something a little bit stronger. Are you listening now? No. Okay. Here comes the 2x4. So I try not to wait to the 2x4. I try and pay when they give me a nudge. I try and hear it. Okay, okay, okay. I've had the 2x4 and it's not fun. All right. Good,
Right.
good. Excellent questions and comments. And that wasn't as 180 as you thought. It fit right in. Anybody else? Oh, Sonia wrote here, is there a lot of humidity? Cedar oil. Check it out. So she gave you some ideas. So we have a couple people that would like clearings. Is there any other questions before we get going? We'll do the clearings. Michelle, you came up first, so we'll do you, and then Christy wanted a clearing. So if you're available, Michelle, to unmute.
Yes, I'm unmuted.
Oh, okay, good. All right, so, oh, the neck's out.
Mhm.
That's normal, huh? Tax time, tax time. Oh, is it worse to the right?
Yes.
Is it? I can barely move my neck to the right now. Oh, boy. Little bit to the neck and then it hurts, but
Mhm.
the right is almost hardly able to move to the right. So let's see what we can. How's Roy?
He just started lifting his leg a couple days ago. He's been
He just popped in. That's why.
uh-huh.
Okay.
Mhm.
Let me work on. Okay. Okay. He said, I asked him if I could work on you first, and he said, okay. So clearing defensiveness. Effort unreceived. Clearing them out. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now try it to your right. A little
It
better.
popped a little bit. Yeah, popped a little bit.
Yeah, overwhelm. It's still kind of up high, like right under the going down below
Mhm.
your ear and going into your shoulder.
Mhm.
Uh, so overwhelm, unsupported, clearing that. Frustration, clearing that. Helplessness, clearing that. Okay, now try.
A little more range.
Okay.
Yeah. A
So
little
we'll
bit more
work.
range.
We'll work more during the healing circle for you.
Mhm.
All right, Roy, real fast. What's going on, Roy? Worry. He's picking up some of your stress and anxiety. Clear.
Mm. Yeah.
Oh, no, overwhelm, clear that. See if that doesn't help him. I cleared a few of those emotions. I think,
Okay.
I think,
Hopefully.
I think he's picking up your stress.
I think so. Well, it always has been that every time you work on me, if he does have that happening, it goes away. I mean, it was like 6 months again.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you need clearing 6 months, whether you need it or not. Then.
Well,
So-
I did buy your package on your birthday. I just haven't set the dates up yet.
Okay.
But
Do so.
yeah. Oh, yeah, I will. I just, like I said, tax season, I just,
Tax season. I understand. But you got to
Yep.
take care of you too, so that you can get through tax season without your neck going.
yes, yes, yes.
All righty.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Christy, you wanted a
Okay.
clip? Okay.
Yes.
Let's see. Just kind of scanning you back, upper back between your shoulder blades. I'm feeling it kind of stuck there. Oh, let's see. Some depression, clearing that. Lack of control, clearing that. Not yet. Anxiety, clearing that. Heartache, clearing that. Love unreceived, clearing that. Still kind of stuck. Heck. Stubbornness clearing up. Feel very antsy all of a sudden. Do you feel antsy?
I do.
My legs just want to pop up and down. I don't want to, I'm kind of fidgeting in my chair. So try breathing, taking in a nice deep breath in. Do it a few of those. Oh, and as you're breathing, add in the emotion gratitude. And just you can just repeat the word even, unless you know of something you're grateful for. That's better. And I'm going to release grief. Still stuck. Oh, we need an age on one. Which one do we need an age on? So frustration. You mind telling me your current age?
I just turned 38 Tuesday.
Okay. 28. So
38. I'm sorry. Did I say
no,
28?
no. You said 38, but
Oh, okay. Okay.
I was told that I needed to identify the age of when you were when this emotion of frustration got stuck. So it was age 28, and I'm accurate, plus or minus a year for the specific emotion. So something happened when you were age 28 that was a little bigger. That it's important to think about your age back then. Something it's got you stuck. So you might want to think about what that was.
Okay.
Stuck in the heart chakra.
Yeah, my heart's beating really fast right now.
So keep breathing. Breathe. Slowly breathing down. Add in the gratitude. Just focus on your breath and gratitude. So your fear brain, your lizard brain is going, I don't want to let this go because it's protecting me from getting my heart hurt again. And by letting go of this emotion means that I'm going to be vulnerable and open myself up to being hurt again. So I'm not letting it go. And that's why your heartbeat is racing and it's staying stuck. It wants to hang on to it. So you get to decide. You can hang on to it if you feel like you're not ready to let it go. The beauty of making it a conscious decision instead of letting lizard brain make that decision fully for you, an unconscious decision of hanging on to the emotion. It's empowering to say, you know what, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
So
I
I'm
just
not
gotta
letting go.
figure out what that is. I'm trying to think.
So there might be other clues. Again, you might look back at some of the other emotions that I cleared. I can't remember them all now. But if you remember them, you can look back on it, or if you want, we could do a full session and one-on-one. And it feels like it's a little too personal to share maybe in this format, which might be
Okay.
why your lizard brain's going, no, I don't want to feel that vulnerable by sharing that. But my guides and I, if you stay on for the healing circle, we can definitely keep working on that for you. But definitely keep breathing, and then just say it's okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. So that you're safe and secure, and it's okay if you decide to look into it more or just let it be. But make it a conscious choice that I am not ready to look at this yet, or yeah, I'm curious. Why is this holding me back? And I want to understand it better. And then you can use that mantra that I shared earlier. Please show me the path to my higher self.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And again, I'll try and see if we can't help calm that down in the healing circle for you. But
Okay.
definitely just do the breathing and adding in gratitude, that lover above. frequencies, because that will help calm that down. Whatever, it'll just take care of lizard brain for you. Whatever's scaring you, it'll help support it. Okay, support yourself by doing
Okay.
that breathing, and that will help calm it down too. So, know, trust yourself that yeah, you got this. You can handle it. Becoming more conscious of it. Okay, Kat, you wanted a clearing. Alrighty. Oh, and you know what?
What?
It just released. Whatever you were doing with your breathing and whatever we discussed, or giving yourself permission. I just
I'd
felt
been
release.
with me or with Christy?
Christy,
Okay.
I just
'Cause-
felt the release. So I was just clo- try-
Yeah,
turning
I'm
my head
calmed down
switch.
so much, like I'm all warm and tingly.
That was the release. That was the shift. That was what I was waiting for. And as soon as I was getting ready to switch people, tapping into the other one, I went, oh, there it went finally. And
Thank
you
you so
felt it too.
much.
So good. All right. Now, Kath.
I was doing breathing with Christy,
Okay,
trying to
good.
release stuff too.
Good.
I had an encounter with a narcissistic personality. I made it through 7.5 of 8 hours of work, and somehow all those angels and everything that I'd been doing to ground just and then there was more havoc today, and I really worked hard. I mean, like, I give myself A's, pluses for how hard I worked on this, but in the last few hours, it's just, I think it's anger, but I also think it's related to my mother, and grief of or loss, or I'm not able to peg it, but it just, my first, second, and third chakra are just like this.
Okay. Okay. Well, just again, yeah, do your breathing, adding in, I would say peace and calm. We need to calm things down. And again, good. You could add gratitude in because you did good. You're grateful that you did really good with your protections, but at the same time, you can't help it. It to me, these protections are like sunblock.
Yeah.
But you know what? It doesn't. There isn't a sunblock that's 100%, and so we
Yeah.
can still get slimed by these other energies. We do the best we can to protect ourselves, and it works for a lot of it. But if we're around it too long, or somebody is really strong, it just can't help but sneak some of it through, and then it can trigger our fear brain, and now we're in that cycle that you just talked about and described. So, but again, when we understand the process, then we can use that process to go, oh, okay, yes, I have grief, I have something I need to learn from it. There's a purpose for these emotions. Instead of being afraid of them, let's go into them so that we can find the meaning of it, so then we can go up higher, and instead of staying stuck in that second, third, first, third, those first few chakras are the unconscious. And if there was a distortion, especially early on, that's part of the healing that we're trying to get to. And then re-strengthening or strengthening that foundation, because it's hard to build to that higher self if we have a weak foundation. And so
Yeah.
the huge healing is actually strengthening and repairing the foundation so that we can get to that our higher self and our highest purpose. We really need a strong foundation to really go after that area, because you're pretty vulnerable when you put yourself out there. And so if you don't have a good foundation, that's hard to do. So let's go ahead and clear. We are going to clear that love unreceived, which means, you love, but wasn't reciprocated, wasn't given to you in that proper way it's supposed to be given. So that would be part of the repeat and the attraction that you would get, elect too many narcissists around you. So until that part of it gets repaired more, you're going to get more examples to give you practice. But you know what? The beauty is that once it really gets stronger and that foundation is strengthened to the point where you're really nice and solid, safe and secure, you're hardly ever around those types anymore. You don't need them anymore. Now you get to do something else. They'll give you something else to get you to trigger your lizard brain and do the cycle again for growth, but you won't need them anymore. So you're on the way to having less of those types in your life. So you can add gratitude for that. That all that hard work is repairing that foundation to the point where you're not going to need them much longer. And again, use that mantra of calming lizard brain down to show you the path to your higher self and to your highest purpose.
Okay.
And sometimes that highest path and purpose takes you not necessarily to something pleasant at first. It takes you to somebody that pushes your buttons. But know that that's the purpose of them. Then you can find the gratitude in that you have to deal with them instead of going, oh, all the time. Go, oh, I got it. Defensiveness, clearing that. Overwhelmed, clearing that. Yeah, you took on a lot of their energy. Peeved. There we go. And there's the shift. Did you feel that?
Oh, when you said peeved, yeah.
Yeah, my whole back went. But it started at the heart chakra and then it went down.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
yeah.
Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. Sometimes it starts lower than you never know what chakra it starts in. But that did open it up. So good.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All righty. So we are at the top of the hour. So let's get to the healing circle unless there's any last other set questions, comments.
I just want to
Great.
make a comment.
Okay. Okay, Michelle.
I just was monitoring Roy and he's already got his foot back down.
Okay.
So he's a happy boy.
Okay, good. Glad Roy is back.
Thank you.
Roy is Michelle's cat, by the way.